Hello, friends, and welcome to Akulmach Live. My name is Chandrakant. I'm your host of this live stream. By the way, we are live, and if you have any questions, you can ask the questions using the chat function. Also, if you want to join this very important subject, which is about the AI hegemony, you can. The steps to join the live stream are described in the description below. Kindly check them out, and we're waiting for you. All lines are open. All right. So today we have this subject about who really controls the AI. Is AI controllable, or it is unleashed on everybody in the year 2024 without any control? So for this very important subject, I will be joined by a very senior person of our industry. His name is Basant Tomar. He is a very well placed CEO. Everybody knows him, and we will learn about this subject from him. So without further ado, let me welcome Basant Tomar to this live session. Hello, Basant. Welcome to Akulmach Live. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. Thank you so much for calling me back here.
So, Basant, as you know, the subject is about AI hegemony, and why we call it AI hegemony because who's really controlling the AI? AI is being used everywhere today, especially in the content, in case of blog writing, in case of taxation, in case of your healthcare, in case there are numerous places, even education. So is it really being controlled by somebody, or is it just being unleashed on us? And if it is being controlled, who is controlling? Is it the company that are controlling, or is the government of those countries from where this AI is originating? Those countries are controlling it. What is your initial thought about this aspect?
I think, CK, the most important thing is the confusion around what is being called as AI. Now, if somebody looks at definition of AI, it's like, an artificial intelligence, a system of computers that mimics and acts like a human brain. That's the whole game. That if I create something and it'll work on its own, I mean, learn on its own and start acting on its own. We are nowhere near that. So more or less it is more like a machine learning, deep learning, or we're moving towards natural language processing where machines are able to understand what humans are saying. We're not going towards the emotional aspect because that is something which machine can never do, though it can understand a bit. Now there are kinds of artificial intelligence. Now people really don't think, they think like it's like something in Star Wars or those sci-fi things. No. There is nothing like that. You will have something which is like a reactive in nature. The intelligence, for example, playing a chess game. Now we've seen supercomputers playing chess games, defeating grandmasters. That is typical of a reactive kind of. I will not call AI. I don't know. I don't like to call it AI, but then fair enough. Somebody wants to use it. Let's use the word AI. You have a reactive kind of thing. Then you have something which is a memory based kind of thing, which can look at certain past aspects and read through and try and understand and give you the answers. It's like chat gpt. It started giving data of, I think, before what, 2021 or something like that. It didn't had last 3 years data, so probably maybe they've improved to 22 now. I don't know, I don't use it enough. Then people are moving towards what is called as artificial general intelligence. This is the core where the issue is, that people think that AI will act on its own. And this is where people worry that if it does, then there is no control over it. Now, I will come to your question, the hegemony or dominance of artificial intelligence. It is no more artificial intelligence, it is more of who controls data. So if you look at who's controlling data, Google. I mean, this is where it started. You have OpenAI. Now there are different companies which will come up with their own artificial intelligence, but the main company is Google. It controls massive data, so it will be able to, for example, dominate the market for that matter for a long period of time. Now, there are certain aspects now for a business aspect, a company would like to have a control, like Google, that it'll have its own and use it for its own purpose, for its dominance in certain aspects, digital marketing, and all that, putting advertisement where it is needed, blah, blah. When it comes to the government aspect, for example, when there is a political reason or when there's a social major impact which is going to happen, that will be governed by the government per se, or the outside influence if it is able to influence it more, like interfering in politics or political events, or the presidential elections, blah blah, so on and so forth. So answer to your question is very simple: nobody controls anything. It is not being unleashed, it cannot be, but you can use it for your advantage. This is where it is coming. Companies will do it for their business, government will do it for their own political and social economic work and gains.
Vasanji, the reason I asked this question simply because, in fact, you mentioned that the data is the king here, because whoever has the highest amount of quality data, their AI will be much more beneficial. So AI takes a lot of time to catch up. And you rightly mentioned that it had the data initially of 1 year, which is 2020 to 2021. But what is happening is, so that variant of AI, whether it is Google or Microsoft or the OpenAI, is available for free for everyone. And all these AI like DALI or Lambda or Gemini, they've all given image creation or video creation capability. And if they have added additional data, which is from 2021 to 2024, for those variant of AI, these companies are charging money. So that is why the question or the live stream is about the AI hegemony. So they create an interest using something which is very piecemeal, a small footprint of what AI can do. And if they increase the throughput of the AI, then they basically start charging money, and not small money, huge amount of money they are charging. So what is your opinion on that, Vasanji?
See, it is about business eventually. So anybody having control over certain thing would like to monetize it. And I don't, per se, if you ask me, I don't see anything wrong or right there. It's the business model that I'll carry, and for what good, in the sense, if company wants to have a cutting edge and a differentiation between some of the companies, why not have something which you can obviously charge? So as I said, when chat gpt started, the day it started, I knew that it's going to be your chat gpt versus my chat gpt. Now chat gpt is, again, you're saying it's like an AI, not an AI, but it's a machine learning story again, which is increasing. It's the way it works. So the higher versions are actually being able to talk to you and give you accurate data. So that is being charged for. Whatever is more accurate, more current, faster will always be charged, because that is being used by somebody to do some gain over there, and they would be gaining. So there is nothing wrong there. I feel it's the right way of going. But what exactly are you using it? This is where ethics and morals and all those things will come into play.
All right, Basanji, let's start with a question which our audience has submitted and on this subject. And the first question that is coming up on the screen is, what ethical considerations should guide the development and deployment of AI algorithms, especially when there are significant societal impact? And that is obvious because everybody is now using AI. Even students are now not studying hard enough because they can actually prompt the AI and get the answer. So, what are the considerations?
See, now again, as I said, please understand, AI is not acting on its own. So when we say ethical considerations, it's about human and their ethics, more or less. And how are they driven? Now, ethics is something which you and I cannot define, even a government cannot, or a company is not defining. Nobody is defining what ethic is. If you look at the Vatican City, Pope had already said in 2023 and a World Peace Day in 24 that we need some binding, some legal something which will define how and what AI will be used for. There is no ethics at play. You see what has happened in, probably, if you look at Philippines, I will not name the presidential elections. They use TikTok troll army, to influence the young voters. This is where what are you? Is it like ethical to do that? No, there is no ethics. It's about somebody trying to gain a massive advantage. This has a huge social impact in the Philippines. So the president did it, and he influenced the voters. Same way it is happening across board. U.S. policing, if you see, it is getting influenced by predictive analysis of which places, which areas will have more criminal activities. Now, this again, it's a bias question. You are moving towards the bias of it. So I don't see ethics being a more which is in consideration right now, because it has not actually reached that level where it works on its own. So it's a human being which is actually doing it, and you cannot define ethic for me, for you, or for someone else, for some country. It is different. So when a user asking a question that does AI, or how will AI be defined in a way of ethical ways, we have not yet reached there. Everybody wants to use it for their own gain. How ethical, unethical it is for the people to decide and determine, and for the laws to take care of it.
So what you're saying is that ethics or the ethical use of AI is not reached their uh, ultimate maturity level. So let's move on to the next question. Uh, and these questions have come from the audience. The question number 2 is, how do we strike a balance between innovation and regulation in the AI landscape?
Okay. Now we are talking about innovation and regulation. Uh, there is nothing binding on anyone. The whole global aspect, if you see, more of this is towards European zone and the North American markets, which are controlling. You and I know that who controls most of the data, and who does. If we talk about the higher learning, the education wise, so it is being determined by the talking. You can do anything that you want to do. For example, for using the AI or a machine learning to be beneficial for various reasons, to reach certain emergency situations, or using medical robotic surgery remotely, to that aspect. So there are there is nothing right now. Again, there is no balance that we can talk about, because it is highly unbalanced and more towards certain region and certain society. Now, probably, even if you look at the chatbots, there are only 100 languages out of 7,000 which are being used to make a chatbot and act accordingly. So do you think it will actually be able to help the 90% of population? No, it is not reaching there, but it's reaching the market which can pay and which is beneficial for the people, for the society, and for the companies to do. So same story, more money where people have money to invest, and same about the regulations. Regulations are simply not there. The only thing that people are worried about, as I said, on its own, if it moves the technology, or if it goes towards the weaponization, where the mass destructive. This is where more regulation will come into play, because that will kill everything, finish everything. Right now there is nothing. People may say whatever, there is no regulation. Even for a child right, there is no law on artificial intelligence per se. No explicit law which states if AI is used. Now, there are deep fakes being used. You know that. There are more scams happening. There are more dangers of AI. There is no law, binding law.
Well, I think you are making a very important point, even though, I think your voice is reaching us and there was some disturbance, but I think you're making a very good point. But let me share something with you. You see, the YouTube platform has started the first initial sort of, disclaimers, where if you are using AI in your videos, you need to declare it, and there is a cutoff date, and if voice has been implemented using AI, that means a voice modulation. If you use some AI software or even for video, you need to declare it. However, the governments are not are not implementing regulation. I think that is where we are, and could be alarming, especially when children are using video conferencing tool and our taxation is happening through AI, etc., etc. But nevertheless, let's move on to the next question, Basanji. And this question has come from the audience, and this is who benefits from the current distribution of AI power, and who is left behind? Over to you.
Or more or less, we could go into details. It's not, it's European, North American, the ones, and the others are going to left behind. Poverty, there is a huge lack of resources, but nobody is going to go there. People are sucking out everything from which country they can, and they create massive wealth for themselves. So we all know, again, it's a story of rich getting richer, poor getting poorer. So very simple terms, very making most of it. Yes, China is trying to catch up, but we both know where it is going. China, Russia are mostly towards the guys are where they want fear to control. Interestingly, if for everybody, every person is having his face recognized, and they can capture everything about him, determine their credit rating. So see where it is going. Using all this, China has done to their citizens. They are controlling them in such a manner that people, I don't go down in how much control would somebody want to have. So this is alarming, but then again, it's on the, as I said, authoritarian regimes which are working on it. And who benefits? It's very clear. Somebody having more power is going to benefit because he controls it. So the question that people are trying to ask is not the right one. It's more towards the use of it, who should be allowed to, and where and how. That is what needs to be determined, controlled by certain authorities, which is still not there in the picture, because there is very, very less value attached to 90% of countries. It's only 10% which control everything. So for now, as of now, things will not change much till economies change, until there's more power in the hands of other countries.
Well, Basanji, the connection is slightly bad, but I think we are able to hear you and also see your picture, no problem. There is a little bit of lag. So let's move on to the next question, and which is the last question of the show today. And that is, what role should international cooperation play in governing the AI algorithms? Is there a scope for collaboration here?
No scope, CK. There is no scope of collaboration, because who's determining, who's developing is a very small portion of people, and they control data. And when somebody says that I need to collaborate, for collaboration, the two parties or the number of parties involved need to have some say, some stake there. So per se, there is no stake that 90% countries have. And when we talk about the international cooperation, it's not going to come. There is no cooperation which is going to happen. It's only what the powerful can give or offer, unless it impacts them more. They'll continue doing it. They will continue using it. So we have not yet reached there. When people say AI, that it works on its own, no. When it reaches there, then even these countries can't handle it. So I don't know, it's specific to the Lambda case that we're talking, the Google scientist who was working on it, he got so scared. He said that it started talking on its own, and we really don't know whether that person got, I don't know, he got scared or what. No one knows the story behind it. But there is something like that. People are worried. Elon Musk has mass nature in the societal impacts, which can go out of control.
Vasanji, this is a very important subject, especially it affects all of us, all humanity. The future of humanity depends on this. However, you have spoken very freely. You have given your suggestions and your thought process on this. We will come back and discuss because this subject is very vast. It is not going to go away. This is just the beginning. So, thank you so much for finding time and discussing this with us today.
Thank you so much, CK. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.
So, friends, you heard from the expert, a very senior member of our industry. Vasant is known world over. And just in case if you have any suggestions, any questions, feel free to send it across. We will definitely ask the expert in our next edition of Akulmach Live. Thanks for watching us live. And I'd like to say bye for now.